Spencer, so happy to see that you're staying. I know you had opportunity, I think, to go to Auburn. What made this attractive for you?
Thanks, Bob. And first and foremost, for me, after the season was done and being named the interim head coach and going through it, I absolutely love this place. But more importantly, I absolutely love our players. And it was something that I was just after, I'm a man of faith and I was praying about and just really felt convicted. I really want to see this process through with our players. And if there's an opportunity to stay and be here with the right people, I want to do it. But the whole time I was just, all I could stop thinking about was our players. I want to do the job I was given to finish this thing the right way. And I wanted to do that. And then whatever it looked like at the end, I was ready to live with whatever consequences those were. So very, very obviously fired up how it turned out. But the whole time there wasn't some secret plan. And it was one of those things. I want to do this the right way. I'm going to be here for our kids. I love this place dearly. And at the end of the day, I'm going to trust that.
Spencer, what would you envision your defense looking like? What would a Spencer Danielson defense look like taking shape next year in the season?
Thanks, Bob. No, the first and foremost, what our defense is going to look like when you guys are watching film, to me, is relentless. Like, I want, when you guys are watching, hopefully in the stands or wherever we're at, it looks like we got 30 football players on defense out there. We're there, just absolute relentless. And there's tons of things that go with that, and I completely understand it. But from the top down, from our mentality, we're going to be relentless, and we are going to, when you watch us, it should jump off of film, first and foremost. And then as we get going, we're going to be relentless. We're going to be technically sound, physical, all these different things. But what I'm going to preach to our players when we see them one more time, when we see them here initially starting next week, is when you step out on that field, whatever you're doing, if you're stretching, if you're doing whatever, we are going to be a relentless defense.
Next up, Ron Counts, and then we'll get BJ.
Spencer, congrats on the job. We saw in the statement that you called Andy a mentor of yours. Tell me about that relationship. Did you guys click right away when you guys worked together? Did it take some time? And what did you learn from him that you still kind of draw back on today?
Thanks, Ron. No, and first and foremost, guys, once again, just so excited for what's next. I cannot be more fired up for the future here at Boise State. So thank you for that, Ron. For me and Andy, so I came to Boise State because of being a graduate assistant for him. We met, so I was the linebackers recruiting coordinator at Azusa Pacific, as you guys know, and I met him through recruiting, and then was a graduate assistant with him, and then was promoted. So he's always been, and I say, like, he's like a big brother to me from a mentor standpoint. Andy has what I love about Andy, and there's a lot of things that I do, but he can hold people to a high standard, hold them accountable, but you always know that he cares about you deeply. And a lot of guys can't do that. It's either it's all smiles and it's all joke, or it's all this. Like, Andy can hold people to a high standard, motivate them at a high level, but you never doubt how much he truly cares about you as a person. And that's something that, besides the tons of football that I've learned from him, recruiting, organization, that's something that I admire a ton from Andy that I've learned, and I'm always trying to work on.
So thinking back, did you always know you wanted to be a coach, or can you pinpoint a moment where you realized that that's where you wanted to take your career?
Yeah, so growing up in San Diego, I had a great high school coach, Chris Johnson. And when I was in high school, he would be that guy that always say, you're going to be a coach, you're going to be a coach. And as a young kid, 17, 18 years old, it was like, no, I want to go own a business, or I want to do this, or, you're in high school, want to play in the NFL. And I was a 6-foot quarterback that could throw the ball 40 yards. You know what I mean? So, but you just had those kind of things. But in the back of my mind, it was planted. And then with my time at Azusa Pacific, I was a part of great coaches, one of them, Victor Santa Cruz, and just seeing how instrumental he was in my life, changing it, not only just from a football standpoint, but even more importantly, off the field, and how I lived my life and how I was driven for a purpose bigger than myself, and not just living just to enjoy the moments, but what kind of impact you're going to leave when you're here, changed everything for me. And so probably when I was a junior, Ron, is when it really clicked in my mind that, okay, when I'm done playing, I want to coach. If it's high school, if it's college, if it's some point wherever, NFL, but I want to coach, and I want to be a driving force and impacting other kids' lives through the avenue of football. Because that's the amazing thing about football is you immediately have a platform. And then as a coach, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to lead players to grow as men of character, grow as men of integrity, or are you just going to coach them as football players? When they're done, it's over. And that's something that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm going to be on these players. I'm going to be on them from football, academics, all these different things. But knowing that if they can grab hold of the fact that if you're not good at something right away, work on it, grow, fail, learn, grow, and this constant process of being relentless to get better. I mean, whatever they do in life, they're going to go play in the NFL. They're going to be great fathers. They're going to be great husbands. And I tell guys, that's the beautiful thing about football. And I know I'm going a little bit of a tangent, Ron, but I'm passionate about this is in life, you can't take too many losses and everything be okay. You just can't. If you take too many losses as a husband, you're going to have you're going to have problems. If you take too many losses as a father, problem, and a job. Yeah, I keep showing up late. I'm taking too many losses. You get fired. So teaching these guys just that constant process of how to be successful, not just that it just happens by the snap of a finger, but it's the process to become successful, to become a winner that competes, to win in everything they do. All that being said is one of the key factors for me being a coach. So at a young age, it was something I was intrigued about, but probably as a junior on at Azusa Pacific is when it really clicked in my mind. Like, I want to do this. I want to teach these young men what it means to be successful and the process to get there, and been passionate for it ever since.
It's a really great mindset. And last one for me, there were a lot of reports about the opportunity you had at Auburn that had to be tough to pass up. What impact did your mentor taking over at Boise State have on you coming back to Boise State?
Great question, Ron. And obviously, we could be here all day talking about the past 3 weeks of my life with the different things. But for me, first and foremost, it was, when I was named the interim head coach, I took that responsibility very, very personal, and that I wanted to do it the right way. And so wanting to finish this interim all the way until the next head coach come, whoever it was. Obviously, I thought that Andy would have a really good shot as he should, but there are some other candidates in there that I don't know personally, but I've heard great things about as well. So through the process, and I have the utmost respect for Coach Harsin. I was so blessed to be in a situation to have a job offer like that. But when it came to it, I just felt called to stay here for these players, stay here for this place. And it was something that it was hard to do because of my respect for Coach Harsin and what he's going to do down there. But I also felt at peace about it. And just that, hey, I made the right decision. However this thing shakes down, I'm at peace with this decision I made, and excited for whatever's next.
Thanks, man. Congrats again.
Thanks, Ron.
So did you actually accept the job offer at Auburn and then things changed when the Avalos came, or did you just kind of said I need to wait, or what was kind of the timeline on how all that went down?
No, great question, BJ. For me, I'm a huge what you say you're going to do. And I know, and obviously everybody talks about it, and that's something, and so no, I didn't. It was something, and Coach Harsin was very understanding. We talked throughout the whole process. Like I said, I got the utmost respect for him and what he does. And so I just told him, Coach, I can't say yes or no until I've kind of walked through this process and finished this interim the right way and really passed off the reins to this next head coach. And he was completely understanding of that. And then as it got closer to the end of it, we had a really good conversation. I forget if it was Wednesday or Thursday. And he's like, Spence, I care about you a ton. I want you here. And I wasn't going to be a guy that I'm going to tell Coach yes and then see what turns out at Boise and then maybe turn it down. I'm like, I just felt in my soul that I respect Coach and I want to be up front with him. And at that point in the process, I felt at peace with finishing the interim head coach, trying to stay at Boise State to see whatever that looked like. And so at that point, that's why I turned it down. But no, I didn't. It definitely wasn't one of those games where it was accept and then no. And I really didn't want to do that because of my respect for him and wanting to be a man that when I say I'm in with something, you can count on Spencer being there.
You think about, being at Azusa Pacific and then, being 4 years ago, you're a GA here. And then you think about, being 32 now and the amount of money you're making and the responsibility you have. I mean, what's this like to be where you're at your stage in your career now, the defensive coordinator at a school like Boise State? It's got to be pretty crazy if you think back to your path to get to this point.
No doubt, BJ. And first and foremost, I want to always say, I am so humbled by this opportunity. I mean, I am so humbled by it. I am so thankful for it. I am so blessed for it. It's something that I've prayed for and really obviously wanted. It's been a legitimate dream of mine to be in the seat I'm in now. And obviously I understand the responsibility. I understand what it means, this place. I understand how I'm going to be held accountable to it. Completely understand all those things. And, and a lot of people have asked me the same thing, BJ, and I appreciate you asking the question of, man, it happened so quick and all that. And for me, I've been the product of a lot of great coaches and people around me, players included. I was blessed to be around great players, great coaches that helped mold me and prepare me for the moments that I had. And I think as you prepare for the moment you're in and you really are where your feet are and you're working your tail off to do the best job that you have, more times than not, other opportunities will slowly come. If you're always looking for the next thing and, well, why can't I be there? Or how can I use this to get to this? Sometimes you just don't end up doing a good job with what you're given, and your responsibility that you're given struggles. And so, I can't shy away from the fact that I am just, like I said, so blessed with these opportunities, but I am the product of great coaches, great people around me, a great support staff, a great people that can surround me and help me grow, know what I know, ask questions when I don't. And like I said, I'm here because of those people. And I'll always be the one to say it, I'm also so thankful. I believe that God works in mysterious ways and his hands upon all this. So I'm just very blessed.
Go Jay Tust and then Mike Prater.
Spencer, congrats.
So Jay, thank you.
Spencer, it has been a crazy 3 weeks for you. Let's go back to the beginning, though. What was it like becoming a dad?
Oh, man, it was everything that I was told is true. That's what I tell guys. Everything I was told is true. Going into it, Jay, it was so. And like I said, I might go a little long on this question because that's a great question, Jay. So me and my wife, when we got pregnant, and they said, December 23rd was our due date. And so we're like, oh, and we were at the point, and not being too open, but me and my wife really wanted a child. And so it was like, man, even if something happens and we have a child in season, we'll make it work, all those things. And so in December 23rd came back and okay, could be a bowl game, but it's pretty good timing. And then as we're getting up into the San Jose State game, we're about a week out from the due date. And so, it's in that Thursday time, and I'm talking with my wife, Rachel, and she's like, no, doctor says we're good. You can go to the game. And Coach Harsin was great. Like, you do what you got to do. And so we come back Saturday night. Sunday, we have meetings here. We're kind of meeting with the team as we essentially finish that season. And I literally get home from the facility, sit on the couch, start talking to my wife, and she goes into labor like that. It was like on a dime. I'm like, whoa, okay. And I was getting ready to go to bed and sleep and get ready for the next day. And we're rolling down to St. Luke's. And it was just an amazing experience. My daughter, Eleanor Ray, was born on December 21st. And it's just an amazing experience. The next day, so we're still in hospital. My wife's on the hospital bed. I'm sitting here. We're going through all the different tests. And that's when I don't have my phones on me. So I'm probably the last person to know that Coach Harsin was leaving out everybody because I didn't have my phones. I'm focused on the hearing test and these different things. And so I get back to my phone. I got 150 text messages, and I'm like, what just happened? You know what I'm saying? And then, Brad Larondo and Coach Harsin hit me up, and we have a really great chat. But I'm sitting right there. My wife's looking at me. She's sitting talking to the doctor. It's like, everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, yep, everything's great, babe. We're good. It was just one of those things that I will never forget, that look at her face. And I'm looking at her, she's looking at me. And so it was, that was a little bit crazy, but the whole experience of having a child now 3 weeks in, she is amazing. She steals my heart. She steals my sleep. And I love every bit of it. And my wife, Rachel, some of you guys have met her. She's an absolute rock star. She does everything. I'm her support, and I'll change a couple diapers every once in a while when she tags me in. So it's been awesome. Thanks for asking, Jay.
Yeah. I went through this not that long ago. Yeah. I don't even know if you had the chance to leave the hospital before you were tabbed the interim head coach. So what did that honor mean to you? And then what was your initial message to the team to kind of steady things in a time where there were a lot of questions being asked?
100%, Jay. So when I got home from the hospital Tuesday night, we got home roughly probably around 7:30. And then I was called by administration around 8, asking me if I would be interested in it. They had a meeting and they wanted me to be the interim head coach and help kind of lead the program into the next phase with the new head coach comes in. And right away, same thing like I told you guys, I was just so humbled by the opportunity. And when they talked to me about it, they're like, you're the guy that we keep hearing that, has the utmost, the players respect you the utmost. You know what this place is supposed to do, what it's supposed to look like. And a monster dream of mine, which it is for a lot of people, is to be a head coach. And so having that opportunity then, especially at a place that I keep saying that I love dearly, I love these kids, I was just so humbled by the honor, and I took it with a lot of intensity because it matters to me. And so the next day I was able to hop on Zoom with our players, and my message to them, Jay, first and foremost, is just, guys, we are in this together. And so although, when the head coach leaves, and this is the first time I've ever been a part of a head coach transition, everything kind of feels like everything's awry. And like there's nothing that they can be sure about. And that was what I wanted to tell them, like, guys, what I can promise you, I don't have the answers you're looking for. I don't know who's going to be the AD. I don't know who's going to be the new head coach. But what I can promise you is I got your back. And I can promise you when anything changes, you're going to hear from me. So you don't need to be worrying about anything else. If you don't hear from me, we're pushing to find the best AD, the best head coach to continue to make this place great and make your experience great. And so that was my message to them. And I would just constantly hit them up, text them, just that, hey, I got your guys back. We are in this together. Stay in the fight. Like, guys, don't go in the transfer portal. Don't let people, because that is a time where some different coach will come in and try and get you to go to different schools because there's no head coach and there's a lot of different things going on. And I was like, guys, let's not do that. Like, we're in this together. We know how much we all love this place. That's why we are all here. And you didn't sign to Brian Harsin. You signed to Boise State. And you came here because of Boise State. And so long story short, that was my message. I got your back. We are in this together, and the best is still to come for us.
Thank you, Spencer.
Thanks, Jay.
Prater and then Will Hall.
Hey, Spencer, congratulations. Looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Thanks, Mike.
We're about to meet Tim Plow and the new offensive coordinator. And I don't know if you guys have any kind of history at all. Maybe just touch on that a little bit. But my bigger question is, a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, how much do those two have to work together, and how much is that relationship intertwined as you try to do what you need to do on the football field?
Good question, Mike. I know Tim. I don't know him very well. I've met him a couple times just through coaching circles. But I will tell you one thing about Tim. I mean, I have heard just glowing evaluations about him from guys I respect a ton in this business, from not only the amount of points he scores and how dynamic his offense is, but just also who he is to work for and who he is as a person. So I've met him one time before this, and I cannot be more excited about what he's going to do with our offense, what he's going to do with those certain weapons back there. I mean, he's going to light it up, and I have no doubt about it. And to your second point, Mike, it's crucial, especially from a practice setting to how because at the end of the day, it's how is the team going to do this together? It's not, okay, offense is going to try and score 1 million points. We're just going to try and stop them, and they just go do that on their own side. Like, it's how are we working together? And Tim understands that. Obviously, first and foremost, Andy understands that. And he understands what it's going to take to win a team game, not just defensively, not just offensively, not just special teams. How can we do this together? And I literally was in a meeting earlier today where he was just saying the same thing, like, how can we do this? And we're going to have to collaborate because it's all about how we can win games together and not just be great on one side of the ball or the other. And so the collaboration amongst coordinators, amongst the special teams coordinator, and then first and foremost from the top down, from Andy to us, that communication and being on the same page is crucial.
I know kickoff for September is a long ways off, and you need to dive into the nitty-gritty of this defense. I know you're also dying to get into that nitty-gritty of the defense. One specific question about takeaways. How frustrating was the lack of takeaways this past season? And how much have you thought about that right now? Because you talked about being relentless. I mean, takeaways start with being relentless. And how much of that can play into more takeaways? I know takeaways can sometimes be cyclical, but how much thought have you put into that? And how much are you ready to go in and make that better?
Good question, Mike. No, creating takeaways is monstrous with playing good defense. It just is. Getting the ball back, stealing possessions. And it's something that we have been frustrated about with last season, the lack of them. And we as a coaching staff last year and even throughout even some of the time of the holidays, just going back to see, what are some ways that we can do that more? Is it something we can drill? Is there certain calls we can put our guys into play with more vision? Can we drill a chase tackle, strip the ball out? But to your point, and I think first and foremost, takeaways start with being relentless, that pursuit to the football, because, ball's in the air tipped. If you're thinking about it, when it's in the air, it's going to drop. If you're always relentless to the ball and you have that relentless mindset, good things are going to happen that way. And, there's no such thing as luck if you play with effort. Luck will follow effort. I'm a firm believer in that. It will follow being relentless, which will lead to takeaways. So, but to your point, Mike, 100%. I mean, we need to create more takeaways. It's at the forefront of our list. And it's something that we're going to completely peel back and see how can we do it. Is it something we need to drill differently? Something we need to drill better? Certain calls. So definitely something we're going to be working on.
Thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, Mike.
Will, and then Johnny, if you've got something after Will.
Hey, Spence, congratulations on multiple levels. I was just curious, what's your bond like with Andy? How strong is it?
Thanks again, Will. It is very strong, and I have the utmost respect for him, first and foremost as a person, as a husband, as a father to his 2 little girls, as a husband to Summer. I have the utmost respect for him there, and obviously the utmost respect for him as a football coach, a football mind. I just do. And I've learned so much from him over the years, as a graduate assistant for him, as a position coach for him, and now as his defensive coordinator. Because even when he was at Oregon, I'd constantly call him and pick his brain from a schematic standpoint, or, what are you guys doing with this? Or even with COVID, like, how are you guys practicing this with the different regulations? So extremely strong bond with Andy. I have the utmost respect for him. And he's a guy, and I've told him this for a long time, I will always have his back. And he's a guy that I just respect a ton, and I cannot be more excited to work for.
Talk with so many former Broncos in your short time that you've been in Boise since 2017, guys like Curtis and Jabril, and they always mention with you, you're like a father figure to them. What's that mean to you?
I mean, to me, Will, that's the biggest thing for me. And like I was talking, I mean, for me, it all comes back to the impact you have on these young men. And obviously, I understand the seat I'm in, and we have to play good defense, win games, or I'm not going to be sitting here. I completely understand that. It's the role I'm in, and I cannot be more excited for it. But for me, and what I'm extremely passionate about is helping push these men to be champions in life and teach them how to win in everything they do. And not that you always do, because you're gonna get kicked in the teeth every once in a while. But what is my process to learn from that situation and make sure I don't do it again? Socially, athletically, all those different things. And so when guys say that, and I've had a couple players over the years say that in their own way, and I'm still close with a lot of them. To me, that's just so affirming, because like my mission and why I do this, we're doing the right things and we're on the right track. And I want to continue to do that as long as I'm in this profession, because it really is my vocation. It's something I feel called to do by the Lord above. And I'm going to keep running my race as fast as I can until I'm not doing anymore. And so hearing those things, and when guys tell me that, it's monstrous to me.
Thanks, Spence. Congrats.
Thanks, Will.
Johnny, and then Corinne, if you got something.
Yeah, congrats, Spence. This is awesome,
Thank
man. What do you think your greatest strengths are as a coach? What makes Spencer Danielson the right guy at this time for this gig?
Great question, John. Not something I've thought about a lot, but one thing that I'm very proud of, and something that I've learned over the years, and is I believe I'm an elite connector with people. And not that there's still a lot of things I can grow in there, but I focus a lot on when I'm with someone one-on-one, if it's from here to in a one-on-one setting, to a team room, to a meeting, to on the field, being able to connect with someone on a deep level to where they truly understand how intense I am with what I'm saying, as well as that they can trust me with what I'm saying, that they can take it to the bank. So that's something that I'm very proud of. There's obviously a lot of things that I want to be able to grow, and even in that, and I've got so much to grow in and learn, but very confident in how I can connect with guys, motivate them, lead them, get a group of young men and even a staff on the same page and on the same mission, on the same vision to where we're going. Those are some things that I'm very confident in, would be the better way to say it. those are things that I'm continually trying to fine tune as we go forward. Thanks, John.
Corinne?
Spencer, I have a question.
Leon Rice, ladies and gentlemen.
Idaho Tribune. And I want to see a lot of turnovers. I want to see a lot of killing quarterbacks.
Come on.
That's when we've been the best. Can I speak on behalf of the fans? We're happy to have you, and go Broncos.
Thanks, Leon. Appreciate you, Coach Rice.
Got hijacked, sorry.
I thought that was BJ. Sorry. What's up?
Corinne, go ahead.
Hey, Spencer. Congrats on the new gig.
Thank you.
Between you and Andy and Tim, you guys have a young coaching staff. What advantages do you see being some younger guys? And do you have any concerns about you guys maybe not having as much experience as other coaching staffs?
Question, Corinne. I know, and even Andy actually answered this question a couple days ago. Someone was asking it to him. And I think the biggest thing in coaching, it's not, there's some great coaches that are in their 60s. There's some that are even in their late 20s. For me, and I know for Andy, it's all about finding the right ones. And that was what he was trying to do as he went to find his coordinators. And even as we were talking, I'm all about finding the right coach, not just the one that people might want or the one that has this much coaching or this little bit of it. And so I really feel confident and very excited with the staff he put together that, yes, we might be a little bit younger than some staffs, but we're the right ones. And we're the ones that we know how to catch hold of the vision that Andy's going to present to us and run with it and disseminate it into our certain sections. So very excited about it. And it's something that we also understand. And we've got some guys in our staff that can help. And it's also one of those things too. And I think just as a coach or as a leader, be confident in what you know, but also have the humility to know what you don't know. And know when you could ask questions and know when to be like, you know what? I know someone that's gone through this exact situation. Instead of just trying to force my way through and, hey, listen to me, I'm going to go call him and see, hey, how'd you handle this? And being humble enough to ask those questions, but being confident enough to know what you do know and know when you want to stick to your guns and what you're supposed to do. So definitely excited about the staff he's put together.
All right, guys. That's all we got time for with Spencer. I'm going to go grab Tim, and we'll be right back.